Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Purple Wall Chats with Salina Family Healthcare Center. I'm Haley. I'm the lady behind the marketing here. And if you're anything like me, sometimes you leave appointments and you realize that you forgot to ask questions, or maybe you didn't really understand something you were told, but you felt too silly to ask a question. Health can be so complex and so personal, but I'm here to ask our providers and staff the questions that you might have on your mind and help grow your understanding, as well as my own, on a lot of these health topics. In traditional Salina family fashion, all of our conversations, of course, will take place in front of our signature purple walls. As we grow this series, make sure to let me know what topics you'd like to talk about. With an in-house team of eye care, medical, dental, behavioral health, and pharmacy experts, we could cover everything from migraines to cataracts, why medicine can be so expensive, to therapy, or even healthcare staffing shortages to social determinants of health. You just let me know where you'd like us to go and we'll talk about it. But this very first episode is on nutrition. Whenever we post about nutrition on our socials, our engagement goes through the roof. So I wanted to make sure to bring you this first episode on a topic that I know you are the most interested in. Recording this intro after our chat, I can say that I learned a lot, and I know that you will too. So, without further ado, let's get into it and let our guests introduce themselves. Haley, I do the marketing here for Salina Family.
And I am Cassie Shields. I'm a pharmacist and a diabetes educator. So while I'm not a dietitian, I really do enjoy nutrition, and it's a big part of what we do to educate our patients.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think to start, what made you interested in nutrition?
Nutrition is kind of the basis of everything we do. Nutrition is the foundation for how we feel, how we sleep, how active we are, how we interact with others, that emotional roller coaster, and it's amazing how food can play a big role in that. And I just think it's so interesting that it's something we have that we can offer others.
Yeah, well, for preventative care especially, I think that this is an important topic. So even if you're not struggling with nutrition, it's something to keep educated about for sure. So I think let's start out with fad diets.
Okay.
You know, you hear people talking about low carb, keto, intermittent fasting. What are your thoughts on these fads?
So the things you have to be careful about is what are your risks individually. So if you have a high family history of heart disease, a keto diet is probably not going to be a good option because it's a really high fat diet. And most of the fats we choose are not good fats. It's bacon and eggs, right? So fat diets in that realm, you've got to know what your risk factors are. And the goal is to not lose weight super fast. And if we're trying to lose weight really fast, then we're going to gain weight really fast. Intermittent fasting is kind of an interesting one because it does have some health benefits and cancer preventing effects, but you also have to make sure it's not telling you what to eat when you can eat in those timing of windows. So you still have to make healthy choices, and that's hard if you've been without food for 16 hours. You're like, I'm going to take it all in.
You're a little hangry.
Exactly. You get hangry and you say, first thing I see, I'm going after. And a lot of times we don't make the best choices in those. So from a standpoint of bad diets, the biggest thing is that, okay, what are you going to do for the first 3 months? And then how are you going to incorporate healthier lifestyle changes that can be lifelong? So there are only 2 diets that have really been beneficial lifelong: a Mediterranean diet and intermittent fasting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
If someone's not familiar with intermittent fasting or a Mediterranean diet, can you just quickly say what those are?
Sure. So intermittent fasting is where you're going to fast for a period of time where you are going to literally not have any food, and you're only allowed coffee, tea, or water in that 12, 16, 18, 20-hour range. Some people will limit the calorie intake different days of the week. So that's intermittent fasting. You're telling your body to fast so it can adapt. From the standpoint of Mediterranean diet, what that is you're eating red meat maybe once a week. Sorry, we're Midwesterners. So it's a really hard one. You're putting more healthy grains into your diet. You have tons of vegetables and some fruit and healthy oils.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love what you said about really knowing yourself. My husband, a keto diet works really great for him, but as someone with high cholesterol, when I tried that, I could just tell that that wasn't the best thing for my body.
Yep.
So really individualizing what you're eating.
Yep, and keto is very good if you have seizures or epilepsy and potential dementia risk.
Interesting.
Yes, but outside of that, if you have a very high cardiovascular risk or family history of heart disease, we have to be really careful with it.
Well, and that makes it even more complicated when you're cooking for multiple people in your household. So what are your tips for families and busy families to make eating healthy a little bit easier or more attainable?
So I will say we are a family of 5, and I have 3 littles, and of course pasta wants to be the presence of every meal, right?
Yeah.
And I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with my second kiddo. So my risk of type 2 diabetes is very high, and so I really tried to avoid some of these highly processed grains. So we make spaghetti, but I do zucchini instead of pasta.
Okay.
So we're making the same meal, but we're adding an extra side that I'm eating that maybe the kids are not eating.
Okay.
And that my husband has to at least try. So my tips are, you always have a vegetable, and it really needs to be green. That's one of my biggest tips. A salad, green beans, broccoli, you can do your cooked spinach, you can do turnip green, whatever. You need to have some greens. So, and I tell people, the way you should eat your food is eat your vegetables first, eat your meat second, your grains last.
So you get all the good stuff first.
That's right. Rinse and repeat.
Well, and that's kind of talking about the color on the plate. You hear people talk about shop on the outside of the grocery store, put as many colors on your plate as possible.
Yes. So the one thing you have to think about, there's also bread and ice cream on the outside corners, right? They're
getting smart about it.
I know. They know how to get you. So outside of avoiding those couple of areas, that is a good general rule to have. If you see a nutrition label on something, it's not going to be as healthy, right? There's not a nutrition label on broccoli. There's not a nutrition label on an apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. So that means there's more opportunities for that process capability to happen. So we want to avoid as much of that processed foods as possible. Make your own soup. I know it's time management.
Yeah.
And that's hard. So prepping, learning how to say, okay, Sunday, if you have some older kiddos, or if it's you and your husband, or you and your mom, or whoever, you also make that a time where you can be together. Mm-hmm. And that builds relationships, which means you're going to help keep each other accountable. You're going to make healthier decisions. I feel like without sometimes the that goes along with it. But food is meant to share. Food is meant to be together for us to enjoy with each other. So prepping and doing those things as a family or as a group together can help everybody want to make healthier decisions, I feel.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love talking about this because my husband and I like to cook together, and we are determined that our 3-month-old, when he gets old enough, is going to be on MasterChef Junior.
Oh, I love it!
Yes! MasterChef Junior champion on our hands. So we are determined to make that happen.
I think it's perfect.
But anyways, I know you're a big fan of the crock pot.
Yep.
You think that's another easy way for people to integrate this
into
their lives?
And it's budget friendly. So a crock pot, an air fryer, even like a roaster oven that you can set out, especially when it gets hotter. The last thing you want to do is have that oven on. So you can meal prep, you can freeze these meals, and then you can just dump it in the crock pot and come home, and 4 or 6 hours later you have a meal. So a lot of times I'll turn crock pot on when I get home for lunch, and then by 4 or 5 o'clock it's ready to go. If I can't get home, I put it on warm, and it just does the low and slow until we get back home. So I do love the crock pot. I will sometimes utilize a pressure cooker, and then that will, if I don't have time to use the crock pot, then I'd have a meal in 30 minutes with that compressed air that pressure cooker cooks it faster. So,
I love all of those tools.
Yeah.
Well, before we get on to any resources or tips you have for people, do you have any other comments about nutrition, things you'd like our patients to know?
Well, I don't want to discount exercise and being active. So we say, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. But understanding that doing a little bit of a walk right after you eat or a bigger meal that you eat can help your blood sugars. It helps your body use that energy appropriately so it's not just being stored.
Oh.
So that's a tip. So even 5-10 minutes after you eat a meal, go walk.
I love, as somebody with a young kid, and we're still adjusting to life with that, all the tips you've given are things that we can do as a family unit and really enjoy that new time that we're getting used to and can continue to utilize as he grows bigger.
Yeah, and there are days it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But always find something that you can make it healthier, whatever you're going to do. You can add some greens to something. You can grab a little bit of yogurt. You don't always have to go get a burger. You can grab a rotisserie chicken if you don't have time, and a bag salad from the store, and you're still making a healthier choice.
Yeah. You know a thing or two about those bag salads.
Listen, I love me a bag salad.
Well, perfect. Any resources or places people could go to, like yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are definitely here at Salina Family, so if you're looking for help with some of your disease states or even weight loss, now it gets a little bit tricky because we do look at patients who have diabetes or pre-diabetes, more so with me not being a dietitian. But tips and tricks are finding what you like online and put healthy in front of it. Like tacos. Well, how about healthy chicken tacos? Then it's not fried. Or like I love a Baja shrimp taco, but most of the time they're fried. How do I make that healthy? So if you put healthy in front of it, you a lot of times can get fresher ingredients, things that aren't fried. I like Pinterest is a big place I go for recipes. I like to look at things that are cooked under 30 minutes.
Oh,
because,
that's nice.
It's family, that kind of thing. But I will say, if you look up ADA, if you go to CDC, even has some recipes that way. But find the things you like and then see what you can find as a healthier option with them.
Perfect. Well, I think with that, we'll close out our first Purple Wall chat. If you have any other nutrition comments, let me know down below, and I will do my best to have Cassie answer as many of those as we can, and let me know what other topics you'd like us to talk about. So, see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.